All right, we already getting an alert. All right, there we go.
Yeah, we up.
Come on, that's what's up. All right, Shalom, Shalom.
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 Want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahasham,
Shem,
Yahweh Shai,
Yahushai,
Bahasham,
Hashem,
Hakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the Akim. Shalom. So, Great Millstone, Dallas. Now, we were able to get together again to continue the series on the book of Hebrews. Got the brother Shar and Tazamah here with me. And Lord willing, this thing will continue to be edifying. And yeah, man, and it does what it needs to do for the elect, and it also does what it needs to do for those that are not elected. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. You can't be offended by these prophecies, man. The last time we were allowed to get together, we went into Hebrews chapter 11 and we got about halfway through it. We'll be picking up where we left off, and Lord willing, it'll be motivational and inspirational to those who it needs to hit. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got anything before we get started?
Nah.
Nope. I'll go ahead. I'll start reading.
Okay, come on. Let me go ahead and share my screen real quick.
All right. And shalom to you, Akim and Akwath on the comment board. Baba Kashaf, if y'all can, let us know if y'all can hear us clearly. You know, if y'all can, Baba Kashaf. But I'll go ahead and start.
Okay, come on. That's what's up.
All right. So this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, and we're going to start at verse 20 because, like the elder mentioned, as it says here in the titles, continued, and we went through the beginning. You know, going from Abel to Enoch, all the way down to Noah, to Abraham, and Jacob. All right, so now we're at the point where we're at the point where Isaac is blessing Jacob and going into this history now and here now. So this is the book of Hebrews chapter 11 verse 20. It says, by faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. And we already know that Jacob and Esau, this is they're the two main characters in the story or the movie, if you will, that Yahweh Bashim Shai set forth for us that we're living for today. All right, Jacob, all right, being the father of the Israelites, which we derive from. All right, and Esau being the father of the Edomites, which is the so-called self-proclaimed white man. All right, which is our brother, but he is also our worst enemy, and the Heavenly Father made it that way. And you can read about the blessing which Isaac blessed Jacob in Genesis the 27th chapter, which is the chapter that we heavily go into to break these prophecies down the right way.
Right.
Even in the verse that you just read, it was all about prophecy then. Mm-hmm. It was talking about what was going to happen with these two men. You see? Yeah, he's our brother, but it's two manner of people. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we have the same parents. We come from the same seed. But did Cain do everything that Abel did?
Right.
No, he didn't. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to Jacob and Esau, you can use that parallel of Cain and Abel. Mm-hmm. One was righteous and one was wicked, but both came from the same father, the same mother. You know what I'm saying? But it was prophesied that they would have two completely different ways of life. One was going to follow the Heavenly Father, and the other one wasn't. Mm-hmm. Right, and you can see that today. You know, you had some Sha'ar Salakia.
No, I saw good. I was just gonna add a quick little point because right here it's very interesting because it says by faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau. So that was ultimately was prophecy, like you said, and also it was a faith-based move because through the faith of Isaac, giving Jacob and blessing giving Esau and Jacob those blessings that you read about in Genesis 27, you see the overall picture. Like for example, we read scriptures in Second Ezra like Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth and such. All this is based upon the faith that was bestowed upon Isaac when he had granted those men those blessings. See how deep faith can go. when you look at faith, that played out all the way into the end. This is going into the kingdom of heaven. You know, that was the only point I wanted to go into. That was a lot of faith. Like everything that we see here today is based off the faith that Isaac gave Jacob and Esau.
Man,
you know, the blessing. I mean, the faith that Isaac had to bless Jacob and Esau. It's a lot.
Yeah, right. He believed in everything that the father set up, including Jacob and Esau. Man,
right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 21, it says, by faith, Jacob, when he was a dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph and worship leaning upon the top of his staff.
Hey, somebody go to Genesis 49 real quick. Somebody go to Genesis 49 and then just get the part where Jacob is gathering them together to tell them, look, this is what's going to happen to y'all in the last days. Right? And Jacob had faith in the prophecies too, man. That's what I'm saying. Right. The Lord, I was like, even though we didn't have scriptures back then, the Lord dealt with us without books and paper and pen. And I don't know, he was dealing through the spirit.
Right.
Noah had his dream, and the way Enoch felt about the way he felt about the times that he was living in. All those things, the Lord was dealing with us directly. You see what I'm saying? He was using the angels to deal with us directly, giving us these visions and showing us these things, man, that boosted our faith and our belief on him. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until later where everything was written down, you know. But that's what I'm saying. When Jacob had the vision of what he went into in Genesis 49, that's what I'm saying. The Lord put the spirit on him to have that vision, see that far into the future, and to be able to understand it and break it down to where they knew what to look for, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Now they might not have understood it then, but you best believe they understand it now. Go ahead.
Right. This is Genesis chapter 49, verse 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days.
That's what I'm saying. It's always about prophecy. This is what's gonna come. This is what's gonna happen. Even when you go into the chapter that we're in, when you read up, everybody went back to the spirit world before they fully got the promise, because the promise wasn't fully going to be executed until later.
Right.
You see? But that didn't take away from their walk. That didn't take away from their faith. You know what I'm saying? Because, Jake could tell you, if I ain't going to get it now, I don't want it. Right. You see? But they understood that they were going to have to go through things and have to deal in the spirit and all this different stuff. Go ahead.
Right. And the wickedness of the Canaanites had to be fulfilled as well before they could get back into that land.
Right.
This is when they were in Egypt. You know what I'm saying? When you read about it, and you read about it earlier in Genesis 15, we weren't going to inhabit that land until their wickedness, that the wickedness of those people had to be fulfilled. And you look at it today, just as you got those Amalekites that are in our land right now, prophecy got to play out. We're still within these regions, but those Amalekites, they literally got to fulfill their hurtful works as the scriptures say in 2nd Ezra the 15th chapter.
Right, because the scriptures talk about their sins stacking up to heaven. That's a lot of sin, and that's going to take a lot of time. You see, but now we're at the point to where their sins have stacked up to heaven, pursuant to Obadiah chapter Obadiah, when they went up into the space station, and then it was like, because they didn't claim that they was God until they went out of space. See what I'm saying? They wasn't claiming that they was the Most High. They wasn't claiming. It says, "Who shall bring me down?" You got to get up there first. Go ahead.
The Most High, if I could just say real quick, the Most High works in a dispensation of time. You know, he like the scripture says that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men. So everything that men do on the planet Earth is all to the will of the Lord for His prophecies to play out the way that He has it set up to go.
Because Yahweh ain't sitting up looking at his watch, waiting on nothing or nobody.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? He set everything in motion to fulfill His will. So yeah, He ain't up there looking at no clock and none of that. You know,
right.
Sure.
Con, this is back in Genesis 49:2. Gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. And you want me to just read on down, or was those the main parts going into the last days? How He spoke in verse 1.
If you found something in there that make the point, drive it home. Or we can move
it's all good. The main points is in verses 1 and 2.
Okay, that's what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I wanted.
I got a precept.
Con.
This is Genesis 48 because it said by faith Jacob, when he was a dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph. You see, now Joseph had 2 sons in Egypt by an Egyptian woman, you know. But it says by faith. I'm just gonna read and jump around on there. This is
Con.
Genesis 48, verse 1. It says, and it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick.
That's what I'm saying. After these, some things had to happen. You know what I'm saying? People always want to say that when it comes to prophecy, that haven't happened yet. That haven't happened yet. But y'all just both made the point that it's gonna happen in a dispensation of time. You see, I have never ate a full course meal at the grocery store.
Right.
You got to shop, you got to drive home, you got to prep, you got to do all that. It's a whole lot that got to happen from stove to plate, bro.
Right.
Go ahead.
It says, and it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick. And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. All right. So we know that Manasseh and Ephraim were the two sons of Joseph. It says, and one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. And Jacob said unto Joseph, the Most High Almighty appeared unto me at Luz in the land of Canaan, and blessed me, and said unto me, behold, I will make thee fruitful and multiply thee, and I will make of thee a multitude of people.
That's what I'm saying, man. So with that being said, who is he talking to? Joseph, right?
Yep, he's talking to Joseph.
That's what I'm saying. So that means from the time Joseph heard that, he had to meet somebody, get to know her, get her pregnant, have the baby, so on and so forth. You see, that didn't just happen right there when he got that information. It was a dispensation of time.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yep, and Jacob was explaining to him the same blessing that the Most High told unto Abraham, the same thing that he told unto Isaac, and now Jacob was telling the same thing unto Joseph, and as well as the rest of his sons too.
That's what I'm saying. Now, which one did Yahweh lie to? Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob?
None.
Neither one of them. And they understood it.
Right.
They understood. Bro, you think the Lord is gonna actually not inform the men that he chose on what's going on? Like, come on, that's the whole point of choosing them, so they can tell everybody what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what our forefathers are doing. You know what I'm saying? Abraham told Isaac. Isaac told Jacob. Jacob telling his sons. And we are Jacob's sons. So we telling our sons.
Mm-hmm.
The Most High's tabernacle is with men. Go ahead.
Towards the end of verse 4, it says, and will give this land to thy seed after thee for an everlasting possession. And now thy two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt before I came unto thee which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt before I came unto thee into Egypt, are mine. As Reuben and Simeon, they shall be mine. Which is how you have, because in reality, when you look at the 12 tribes, you have Ephraim and Manasseh as one of the 12 tribes underneath Jacob. Mm-hmm. When Ephraim and Manasseh were born unto Joseph, which Joseph is, the father of Ephraim and Manasseh. But as you see here, Jacob is like, look, Ephraim and Manasseh are going to be mine as Reuben and Simeon are mine.
Quick point, real quick. Just like these Christians talking about necrophilia and the house of David and all that. Jacob didn't sleep with Joseph's wives for them to be added to the tribes, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They come up with this madness. Well, how could Mary be pregnant with the seed of David? That means that they would have had to dig David up out of the ground.
Exactly.
No. That is not what happened. That is not what happened. And that's proof. That's proof, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those were Jacob's grandbabies, but it's just proof that it extends down the lineage, man.
Yep.
You see, I don't know why the Lord did that. But he did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't no Dan in chapter 7. In Revelation chapter 7, it's Ephraim and Manasseh. It's the house of Joseph, which is Ephraim and Manasseh. You see?
Mm-hmm.
Or did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you have to acknowledge that, man. So now the Lord ain't digging people up and having dead people have sex with alive people. That's what I'm saying, man. That's just wicked. And for you to use that as a point to be funny or no. This is no game, man. This is not no game. You know, might get a bit buffoonish and we might crack jokes to make the point pop, but that's what I'm saying. It's to make the point pop. The point got to be true.
Right.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna jump down to verse in the same chapter, Genesis 48. Just to get the point of history. I'm gonna jump down to verse 14 and read down kind of quickly. It says, "And Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it upon Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand upon Manasseh's head, guiding his hands wittingly." And wittingly means knowingly. So it ain't like Jacob, because Jacob was wax old at this point. You barely could see, but it would say he did it wittingly, so he knew what he was doing, right? It says, "For Manasseh was the firstborn, because according to as it is written, the firstborn should receive the blessing, right, of the firstborn as the firstborn son, right? And he blessed Joseph and said, the Most High, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the power who fed me all my life long unto this day, the angel which redeemed me from all evil, bless the lads," talk about his children, "and let my name be named on them in the name of my fathers Abraham and Isaac," which comes with the blessings, right? "And let them grow into a multitude in the midst of the earth. And when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand upon the head of Ephraim, it displeased him. And he held up his father's hand to remove it from Ephraim's head unto Manasseh's head, because Manasseh was the firstborn.
Mm-hmm.
And Joseph said unto his father, Not so, my father, for this is the firstborn. Put thy right hand upon his head." And this is proving how the Most High is just in control of everything. Mm-hmm. Right? Verse 19, "And his father refused and said, I know it, my son. I know it." Like, look, I know what I know. He also shall become a great people, or excuse me, he also shall become a people, and he also shall be great. But truly his younger brother shall be greater than he, and his seed shall become a multitude of nations.
That's prophecy. That's prophecy. So Jacob pretty much told Joseph, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I taught you, but I'm going by the prophecy. I'm going by what the Lord told me. You see what I'm saying? And the Lord intervened all the time, man. You see? Mm-hmm. You have situations where the firstborn son got the inheritance. You have situations where the secondborn son got the inheritance. But at the end of the day, that was the Lord's will being done. Whoever got the blessing. The Lord say, I rule in the kingdom of men. You see? So if I rule in the kingdom of men, I damn sure rule my people. And I want it to be this way. You know what I'm saying? I don't want Mary and Joseph to wait until after the reception. I want my son to be conceived now.
Yep.
Therefore, he sent the angel to both parents and commanded them to do what they do and told them, don't even worry about it.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. That faith in the Lord is what made them push forward. Like, well, if the Lord say do it now, then we're gonna do it now. Yep. If the Lord say it's gonna be Ephraim over Manasseh, then that's what the Lord want to do. And then we adjust.
Right.
Man's going is of the Lord. You got it.
In John 3, it talks about how the Spirit of the Lord it listeth. Pretty much it does whatever it wants to do, like the wind. And earlier in this lesson, and I got a precept too, real quick. Earlier in this lesson, in this point we're going into, talked about how those blessings of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was passed down onto these two men, including the 12 brethren we read about in Genesis 49. And pretty much I got this point to bring out. I'm going to start at verse 24. This is Wisdom of Solomon 7:24. It says, "For wisdom is more moving than any motion." Mm-hmm. Now that was wisdom that had moved Jacob to say it's going to go into Ephraim and not into Manasseh, which he understood chronologically how it was supposed to work. But the Spirit made it change. The Spirit said, look, Ephraim is going to be greater than Manasseh, right? And Jacob knew that. All right. It said, "She passeth and goeth through all things by reason of her pureness. For she is the breath of the power of the Most High." And that's what was in Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to know that covenant. That was the breath of the Lord. The same thing that was given to Adam, our father, to know about that covenant, to know what's going to befall upon their children in the latter days. Okay. It says, "And a pure influence flowing from the glory of the Almighty, therefore can do no defiled thing to fall upon her. For she is the brightness of the everlasting light, and the unspotted mirror of the power of the Most High, in the image of his goodness. Key point, verse 27. And being but one, she can do all things. And remaining in herself, she maketh all things anew. And in all ages, entering into holy souls. What we're reading about in Genesis 48 and 49 was pretty much the knowledge of the covenants being given unto these men. Now, right now, it wasn't given unto everybody, but it was given unto holy souls. And it's ironic, going back to it in Hebrews 11, it touches up on faith. By faith, they did this. By faith, Jacob blessed Ephraim and Manasseh. By faith, all these things, all this was done through faith. And that's that wisdom. Okay? It says, in all ages, entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends of the Most High and prophets. So that's why they were able to discern these things. That's why Jacob was able to discern who to give the blessing to out of those two men. That's how he was able to discern in Genesis 49 to proportion what was going to fall upon his sons in the latter days. The Lord was supping with him to know these things. And the same way he's supping with them, he's supping with us. And all of the common denominator is faith. That was it on that precept.
Because at that point, Joseph didn't know. Joseph didn't know what Jacob was doing. I mean, Jacob told him, but it was through faith that he look, even though this one came out to be the second born, he's gonna be greater than Manasseh, right? I'm gonna read verse 20 in Genesis 48 and be done. It says, and he blessed them that day, saying, in thee shall Israel bless, saying, the Most High make thee as Ephraim and as Manasseh. And he set Ephraim before Manasseh. You see, that's why Ephraim is considered the head of the northern tribe. Like when you read in when you read in Ezekiel the 37th chapter, when it goes into making two sticks, one for the head, one for Judah and the other for the head of Ephraim. That goes into the fact of how Jacob, being the father of the 12 tribes, put Ephraim over Manasseh and pretty much made Ephraim and Manasseh as if it was his direct lineage and of his direct seed. That's why you have Ephraim and Manasseh as in the 12 tribes and not just Joseph. Because in all, Ephraim and Manasseh pretty much encompass Joseph too, but it really is Ephraim, But I just want to bring that out in the history, just going into it since we mentioned that in Hebrews 11. We can jump back. Hebrews chapter 11, unless y'all had another point.
Let's get it.
Kind of. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 21. Verse 22, actually. It says, by faith, Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel. Looks like Elder Yatazak got kicked out by mistake. We'll just continue. It says, by faith, Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones. You see? So when Joseph was getting ready to die, he mentioned how we were going to leave the land of Egypt. Because eventually after Joseph died, what happened? Another Pharaoh rose up who treated us harshly, and put us in slavery. But he prophesied that we would depart out of the land of Egypt. It says, and gave commandment concerning his bones. You see, because Joseph's bones was also carried out during the Exodus too. Because the promise was that we would dwell in the land of Canaan, all right, in the land of Israel, our inheritance, right? It says, by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child.
He was a proper child. When you go into it, when you go to proper, it's a plethora of different things. Not only was he beautiful or lively, you know what I'm saying, but the spirit had it where Israel knew that there was going to be a savior figure that was to come. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Who knows the visions that Yohebeth and Amram and all them had, you know what I'm saying? But they knew that he was going to be very significant in regards to the liberating of the children of Israel,
Yep. It says, by faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child. He was a goodly, It says, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. And that was by faith, because what was going on at this time? All right, every male child that was 2 years old, who was born up to 2 years old, was being slain. They was being thrown into the Nile River. You see, And it was a commandment for the midwives to pretty much slay every male child that came out of the womb. But by faith, what happened, man? You had some midwives whenever Moses was born, and you had certain midwives that wasn't even killing the male children. In the same, go ahead.
Real quick, I was gonna say it said they were too lively.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? By the time they was gonna go over there and fulfill it, the woman already gave birth. They was already popping babies out before the midwives could come and aid them and do that. You know, they was like these women they're way too lively. And the Spirit of the Lord lifted up a standard right there.
Yep.
You know, and also too, really quick, when you actually read this in the writings of Flavius Josephus in the Antiquities of the Jews, it's very interesting when you go into this, because obviously this is just a key example of it in Hebrews 11, and it's going into all these different examples of moves that our fathers made just by faith. But when you go into this, the reason why Pharaoh and them was killing all those children, because they had the knowledge that this liberator was going to come as well. You know, and when Moses was actually carried on by the Most High in that basket in the river Nile into the porch of Pharaoh, like when Moses was picked up by Pharaoh and such, like those different priests and stuff knew that there was something different about Moses. Again, it said he was a proper child at the beginning of this verse. Okay, but when you go into it, and this also in the writings of Flavius Josephus, it said that he actually grabbed the mitre of Pharaoh, the hat of Pharaoh, and he swung it around and he tossed it to the ground. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord had Moses do that as a sign of the Lord using him to be the key catalyst for the overthrowing of the Egyptians. And all this is written of in the writings of Flavius Josephus. But you see how where faith goes. All it takes is a little seed of faith for something to be done, for your heaven the Spirit to be on her, to get that basket and put that mortar around it so it didn't sink, and just trust in the Lord. You know, and he went all the way into he could have went anywhere. The fact that he floated to the gates of Pharaoh was a very big deal, was a huge deal. Anything could have happened to him. But again, it goes back to faith. You got it, Thomas.
Yeah, it's by faith that we even here, man. You know, it could have been easy. It could have been easy for any of our parents to just, you know, abort us or whatever the case may be. But it was through faith how the Lord has us here doing what we're doing right now.
Right.
You know,
bro, it's crazy. We would not be here for this, what we're reading about right now. We wouldn't even be here.
Right.
If this didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? If the Most High didn't make those daughters lively, popping out babies left and right, we would have been dead. They was trying to exterminate us to a degree.
Right. Continuing on, verse 24 says, "By faith Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter." You know, this is around the time when he was roughly around like 40 years old or so. It says, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, which is the same walk that we're doing, man. All right, we forsaken Egypt, we forsaken the riches of this place, we forsaken the ways of Babylon, all right, the ways of spiritual Egypt today, to suffer affliction, all right, with as being called a son of the Most High for a better reward. Okay, matter of fact, if I can, I'm gonna grab a real quick precept.
You put them Acts?
Nah, I was gonna get 1 Corinthians 4.
Okay.
Or 2 Corinthians 4, I mean. This is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 17. It says, For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. You see, so this is the light affliction that we're dealing with right now. You know, we're coming to the points where, you know, all hell getting ready to break loose. We're coming to the point where the devil gonna come down with great wrath because he knows he has but a short time. We understand that we're at the last legs of literally the foot of this kingdom that's going to be destroyed, and it's going to get tougher. But we got to go through it, because with us getting through it and enduring to the end, it's going to be the reward is going to be far greater. Right. It says, while we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen, just as Moses did, right? And the rest of our forefathers. It says, "For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal." You see, so the things that you see in the flesh right now are, they're just temporal. They're just here. They're just momentary, or they're just temporary. You see, but the things that are not seen, they are eternal, and that's what we're fighting for.
Right.
We got our minds, and we're meditating on the things that are above and not on things that are on earth. As Moses literally did the same thing. Moses, you don't think Moses knew about the promise and the covenants and the promises and what the Lord has set forth for the Israelites? Not just going into the physical land of Canaan. Moses seen beyond that too. You got to start on the. You had a point?
Yeah, I got a precept too, and it goes. I did a lesson on this about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, and I forgot exactly the title, but it's like it was titled something similar to Moses' walk. It's not too much different than ours.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because he had the opportunity, rather to say, to choose Egypt, but he didn't. All right, just as we obviously everything's written anyway, but we could easily go back into the world. We could easily choose the jab. We could easily do all these things by looking at the envision of now, the current situation. Like these Israelites you see out here today, they're promoting the jab. All right, people that we see, they're literally the ones that are getting jabbed up. All right, and it's namely Jake. The reason why I'm using that as an example is because they're willing to comply in this society. They want to be here. They don't look at the promises. They don't look at the future, And like I said, the opportunity's there, but the Lord has moved us to follow him and see those invisible things that are far off, just like it was Moses. All right. Same thing with our Lord Yahushua when you read it in Matthew the 4th chapter when he was being tempted by Satan. All right. He stood him at that pinnacle and he showed him the land and said, "This is all yours if you bow down to me."
Mm-hmm.
But Yahushua knew the bigger picture and he saw the invisible. Now I got this precept here in the book of Acts, the 7th chapter. And it's in start at verse 20. And this is our father Stephen going into the history, all right, before he was put to death.
I didn't miss nothing, y'all. I was still listening.
Okay, this is Acts 7:20, in which time Moses was born and was exceeding fair, just like we just read in Hebrews 11, and nourished up in his father's house 3 months, who was Amram, okay? And when he was cast out, Pharaoh's daughter took him up and nourished him for her own son. And Moses was learning in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was mighty in words and in deeds. So he was an aristocrat already. He was a noble, but he was a knowledgeable noble at that. Like when you read it in the writings of Flavius Josephus, Moses was so sharp and on point. He was pretty much being raised up to be in the seat of Pharaoh, to be a king of Egypt. And again, you can read that in the writings of Flavius Josephus. It goes into that. So to be able to turn down an empire like that, to follow the invisible, it takes a lot of faith. And it makes all the much more sense. Obviously, it was the Most High chose him to do it so anyway, but it makes sense why the Lord used Moses, man, because he turned down everything. He turned down everything, man, just to follow the legacy of his fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That legacy started with the unseen, with the invisible, man. And then it was made manifest. Hey, y'all brothers got it, man.
I'll say that's just like I was with the whole thing with Moses being put in the water. Not only did his parents have faith that he would survive, look what he ended up being. Look who he ended up being. You know what I'm saying? And like like to go into, man, we coming in the same stead as Moses. We were put in that water. We were put in that water with the faith that we will be okay, man.
That's right.
And look who we turning out to be. We turning out to be members of the elect. I remember earlier, Tazama said, "Shit, our parents could have aborted us or anything." But it's that faith. It's that faith, man, that keeps shining through, man. No matter, we always hinge on the faith and the fear. You know what I'm saying? So when the Lord shows you something that you can't deny, you gonna hearken, man. It just is what it is.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why this chapter is so important, man, to see how powerful faith really is, man.
That's right.
I said you got people that spirit left their body, but it still had the faith.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The faith never left. You got
man, yeah, that's a beautiful point. I just really quick, man, it's like faith really, if you want to get down to the nitty-gritty, faith really is spiritual power within itself.
Yeah.
Because things happen when you believe that much, like literally reality altering things happen. You know, what are the odds of Moses floating all the way down that river and nothing happened? He just went right into Pharaoh, man. That was divine intervention.
Right. Man,
You know?
bro,
This
look
was
at Joseph. Look at Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
That faith never left.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It was once his brothers did what they did, he started to understand those dreams.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He started to understand that. Now
That's right.
bro, what happened to Joseph, what his brothers did to him was played out. That was played out. Remember when the Lord told Abraham, your people are going to sojourn in the land for 400 years?
Right.
With Joseph having them dreams and telling his family and his brothers being jealous was how that played out. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
when it comes to faith, you just know that the Lord is gonna come through. You don't gotta know how.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got manna falling out the sky, water coming out of rocks, ravens bringing people plates. Don't worry about how it's gonna happen. Didn't Yahweh Shai tell the disciples? He said, "Look, birds eat every day. They ain't at the grocery store. They eat every day, and the Lord loves you more than he loves these birds. So snap out of it. Stop worrying about the blow by blow and the play by play. No. Just know it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Because you can know the outcome. That's what I'm saying. If I know a team won the game and I'm watching it afterwards, I know the outcome. I'm not tripping in the third quarter when they down by 20. If I know they won the fucking game.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Come on now. Go ahead.
Kai, I got a quick just precept based upon what you said. This is Genesis 50 and 20, just to get to the point. And this is Joseph speaking to his brothers. It says, but as for you, ye thought evil against me. Talking about slavery when they sold him into slavery. It says, but the Most High meant it unto good to bring to pass as it is this day to save much people alive.
That's what I'm saying. He finally understood. All those things had to happen for him to be able to understand it. All those things had to happen for them to be able to understand it. You see? Because at first they was talking about killing him. And then Judah stepped up and was like, nah, man, come on now. We can't kill him. But that's what I'm saying. If they would have killed him, what would have happened?
Been through.
That's what I'm saying. Move out the way. Move. Just move. The Lord gonna work.
Right.
The Lord gonna work. So when you got people on the comment board, well, tell me this. Well, how and they want chronological order, bro. It ain't no stop, bro. Stop. I'm not gonna do this with you. You either believe in the Lord or you don't.
Yep.
Well, why is it my duty to convince you that the Lord is true when it's documented?
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe it. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I believe everything in this Bible said. You know what I'm saying? Whether it made you uncomfortable or however you better get some understanding going. And our forefathers and our foremothers had that understanding. They had that belief, man. You're not going to believe in something you don't understand. We understand the scriptures. That's why we believe in them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
Hey, this brother put a beautiful precept on the comment board. I must read if it's cool. Unless you have more on your precept time.
No.
Which one?
It's the one, Yaharos, Judah, Israel, Matthew 7 and Matthew 17. All right. So it says, Matthew 17 and 20. And Yahweh, and this is a very popular precept. And Yahweh said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place. And the spiritual, when you look at this, because we're going into the seeds of faith, and how that thought that Moses' mother had was a quick seed of faith to put this baby in the basket. The quick seeds of faith that you read right here, like a mustard seed, is very small. You know, and he talks about having that faith of a mustard seed, but when Yahweh Shai meant was, when you look at the finished product of a mustard seed, you wouldn't think that it would come from a seed that small. And we're reading about all these different examples of the little things that we think that our fathers might have done to the massive outcome at the end of the day. It's a very immense mass outcome just by those little seeds of faith. You know, I saw that precept and wanted to bring that out, man, because it goes hand in hand with what we're talking about.
Con, beautiful. Con, jumping back to Hebrews 11 and verse 25 again, it says, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
Oh, stop right there. Stop right there. That's the state that we come in, man. You see, we understand. We understand. Now we the Lord bless us to travel to go over to go fellowship with brothers and that type of stuff right there. But that's what I'm saying. That's for the ministry's sake. That's for the sake of the ministry. You know what I'm saying? We're not using those opportunities to go be niggas. Right. You know what I'm saying? We using those opportunities to further the gospel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Go ahead.
Verse 26, it says, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt.
That's what I'm saying. The correction of the Lord, being corrected by the Lord is better than Babylon, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? You got the green light to do whatever you want to do here. You know what I'm saying? And those people that's doing whatever they want to do, they gonna have to suffer the consequences for those things, man. I would say it's better to be bored in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai than to have a life of excitement given to you by Satan, man. Because Satan can bless you too, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what Matthew chapter 4 is about.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Con, it says, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, which it shows you that Yahweh Shai, you know, the preaching of Yahweh Shai really was still going back then too. All right, it says, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. See, he looked for the reward. He looked for the payback of the reward. That's what Moses was looking at. That's why he forsook Egypt. You see, he forsook Pharaoh and the riches that that world had to offer, because he had respect and he looked beyond that, just as we are to look beyond that, right? Verse 27, it says, by faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king. Same thing with us.
Not fearing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Not fearing the wrath of the king. For he endured as seeing him who is invisible. Now we read earlier, it says that faith is the substance of things hoped for and it's the evidence of things not seen. That's the first verse in the same chapter. So it says, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. Does not the scripture also say, walk by faith and not by sight? You know, you got a lot of Christians that love the quote that we walk by faith and not by sight. But how do you really truly do that? You see?
I would say, what do you have faith in?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. People like to talk about you got faith. Faith in what?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't read the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Faith in what? You got faith in Jesus? You got faith in Yahweh Shai? Faith in what?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of faith we talking here?
Faith in themselves.
You see? Because in Hebrews chapter 11, that's talking about faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, what do you have faith in? If you got faith in the government, you're going to lose. If you got faith in this devil, you're going to lose. If you got faith in these men that's teaching everything outside what the Lord is talking about teaching, you got all these dudes that want to build this and build that and never say Lord willing. And that's what I'm saying. What do you have faith in? Do you have faith in some land you found behind a mountain? Do you got faith in this land in Georgia that everybody's so fucking amped up about? Huh? Well, maybe you got faith in marching. I don't know.
Right.
We got to ask. Because if you ask us what we got faith in, we're going to say we got faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai and the words in this book. You ask anybody else that, you're going to get all kind of BS answers, man. Right. Never a straight one. Go ahead.
Yep. Verse 28, it says, through faith he kept the Passover, which was that the keeping the Passover was an act of faith.
Which is why we keep it, because it's an act of faith.
Right.
See, you see how that faith trickled all the way down to little old us?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's because the Lord wanted that to happen. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That faith that the Lord said he was going to raise up those dry bones, because the Bible said he was going to raise up those dry bones. Who are those dry bones? The whole house of Israel. What did everybody do when they seen the whole house of Israel waking up? They got shook and started lying. Right? That's what I'm saying. That's the gift of faith that the Lord gave us. He constantly gives us stuff. every single day.
Mhm.
Bro, you can go, I would say, you can not read nothing today, but I guarantee you it's going to be something in that chat that's going to catch a hold of your ass.
Mhm.
You see? And we're seeing these prophecies pop out, boosting the faith. Seeing more fruit coming in, boosting the faith.
Mhm.
You see? When you read in the book of Acts, it talked about daily teaching, daily converts, daily. Who the only people doing that? Because we have the faith that if you teach daily, more fruit will come and we can get out of here. Because that's what we were told to do. That's the instruction.
Right.
The instruction is to learn, teach, and wait. But everybody else want to talk about what they want to do. We gonna do this. We gonna do that. We got this in the works. Oh shit, here we go. Passover time, Shabbat. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, man.
Mhm.
You don't got faith that the Lord is gonna deliver us, man. Go ahead.
Yep. They don't esteem the reproach of Yahweh greater than the treasures of Babylon. Because ultimately, their gimmicks of what they're doing in a lot of these different camps is for the riches of this world and to be glorified on this side versus being glorified on the next side to come. Which this side is going to pass away. This age is going to pass away. Which our forefathers seen that and they knew that, which is the reason why they made these particular actions. Right. Verse 28, it says, through faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of the blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them.
And that also shows you the fear of the Lord right there.
Yep.
Because when you go into that word least, it literally means for fear that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you replace that least for fear that he destroyed the firstborn, for fear that he that destroyed the firstborn should not touch them. Hey, faith also is applied with fear as well.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have one without the other. And when I say fear, I'm talking about a healthy fear, the fear of the Lord. All right. They go hand in hand with one another. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You can, every time we're going into the faith, what we're reading about, for faith, Abel did this. For faith, Moses did this. You can also put for fear, because if they wouldn't have did it, look at what the outcome that could have been. It could have been a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So the fear of the Lord is going to move you to do these good works and perform these things. Yep.
It tells you that in the book
because you fear the Lord.
Yeah, it tells you that in the book of James. It tells you that faith without works is dead. You know what I'm saying? Did Abraham receive the covenant by way of just believing what the Lord said, or did he act upon it? Same thing with Noah. Same thing with like the brother mentioned. Same thing with Moses, and the other examples that we got to go into. It goes into obedience. Obedience is faith. Faith will make you obedient. Verse 29, it says, by faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land. Now just imagine that. Just imagine you walking through the Red Sea, right? A wall of water on one side, a wall of water on the other side, and you walking through it on dry land. And it's a wall of water. It takes some faith to go through that.
Yeah, and this was done to keep you from dying. This was done to save you. You know what I'm saying? This was done to deliver you from your enemy, man. Because, bro, think about that. When they came up on the water, they was like, oh shit, what are we gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Bro, it was millions of people and animals and all that, you know what I'm saying? Like all that. How the hell are we gonna get across this water? You know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. That faith that Moses was given, man. That faith that, like you said, Shaw, faith is spiritual power.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna be able to work no miracle if you don't believe.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. But the whole time the Lord had been telling Moses that he was gonna deliver the nation of Israel. Moses didn't give a fuck how.
Right.
He just knew it was gonna happen. And when he split that water, I can only imagine. I can only imagine when the spirit hit him, he said, hit this ground, hit your staff into this ground and this water gonna open it. The spirit told him that, so he did it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He did what he was told.
No hesitations.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. You know, bro, if you take a 99-year-old man right now and circumcise him, that would kill him.
Right.
That would kill him.
That's a great point, bro.
Abraham didn't give a fuck, boy. Say, Isaac was gonna be through. Look, he said, as old as I am, the Lord said he gonna give me a son. He telling me to sacrifice this one. He must gonna give me another.
He said that. Look, if this is going to happen, the Most High is going to have to raise him from the dead because I believe what the Lord said that it's going to come through him.
You see?
It says that. It says that in this chapter. We read it in the past, but yeah,
Bring
he
it
said
up.
it.
Bring it up.
I'm gonna bring it up real quick. It says Hebrews 11 and 18. I'll start at verse 17 and read down to 19. But by faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, right? Who received the promises was Abraham, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That was told to Abraham that before he was going to sacrifice Isaac, that in Isaac was the seed going to be called, right? Abraham knew that, right? Mm-hmm. Accounting that the Most High was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure.
Yep, which he did later. But yeah, man, but that's what I'm saying. That belief, man. You know what I'm saying? I jokingly say this, but you know what I'm saying? When it comes to Abraham and Sarah, they were old, bro. But that faith that they had in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai and what he said, well, you can only imagine, bro. They probably hadn't had that type of passion in years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That was probably the most fulfilling experience that they had together. Just, you know what I'm saying? Being that old and the miracle that came from that, like, bro.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because both of them laughed at the thought.
Yeah.
Both of them laughed at the thought. Oh, they probably started remembering how they used to cut it up back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
It's only natural. It's only natural.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So that union that Isaac was conceived, man, had to be special, man. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just no hit it from the back, oochie coochie, la la la. No, man, stop thinking like that.
Right.
Everything got to be nasty with you fucking people, man. No, that was a beautiful experience, and our Lord came out of that.
Yep,
that's right.
Same thing with Joseph and Mary, man.
Yep,
that's what I'm saying. Like, God, fucking nasty ass people.
And when you go into that word accounting right there, like one of the definitions means to deal with as a reality. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So when it says accounting that the Most High was able to raise him up, like he knew that it was going to be made a reality. Mm-hmm. And earlier, we talked about the seed of faith and how that little seed of faith can get planted. It's so small, but the finished product, what it grows into, because when you look at how Abraham looked at that to be a reality with Isaac, even though it didn't happen that very way he expected, it still happened with Isaac, who was Yahweh Shai, thousands of years after that. Mm-hmm. So his thought process of, you know what, if I do this, Isaac's going to get raised from the dead, and I believe that. That happened by Abraham's faith with Yahweh Shai. Mm-hmm. And that was way later on down the line. We can see that little seed, that mustard seed, that was planted right there. And then thousands of years later, it grew into something so vast. And with that being done, we're here today and still have the understanding. And the covenant's given unto us through Yahweh Shai being raised up from the dead, man. That goes all the way back to the faith of Abraham.
Yep.
Woo. That's what I'm saying, man. That's why Abraham is documented in this chapter, man.
That's right.
That's right.
You got it.
Khan. Hebrews 11 and 29. It says, by faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, which the Egyptians essaying to do were drowned. See, that Egyptians tried to attempt to do the same thing, but Most High flooded them, right? Mm-hmm. It says, by faith the walls of Jericho fell down after they were compassed about 7 days.
That's what I'm saying, man. They did what they was told to do. They went around it. Then on that 7th day, then they go around it 7 times.
So they went around it a total of 13 times.
You know what I'm saying? But that's what they were told to do. And they had faith that if we do what we're told, somebody get Deuteronomy 28:1 real quick. Yeah, get Deuteronomy 28:1-2 or something like might be through 3. But that's what I'm saying. It goes back. You see, Joshua had the faith that the Lord said we're gonna do it like this. It's how we gonna do it, and they prevailed. And then the next chapter, a nigga shows up with the garment.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. The ones that believe, the ones that have the faith, are the ones that the Lord is dealing with, man. You see? And the ones that was like the ones that believe and the ones that have faith are gonna bring on everybody else. Same thing with when the Lord, I'll say the Lord believed Yahweh, he had faith in Yahweh, he did his job. He passed that down to the disciples, who later became apostles. They passed it down to us. Right? Is this not the pattern? Are we making this up? But that's what I'm saying is the ones that have faith are gonna have to cover for the ones that don't when it comes to the nation of Israel. You see? But the Lord set it up to show that power. He said he set up 1/3 against the 2/3. If we were just gonna start a fight, shit, a carnal fight, the 2/3 would probably kick our ass. But the Lord set it up. He said, no. I'm gonna make you smarter than them. I'm gonna make you more spiritual than them. That's how y'all gonna win. You see? I'm gonna constantly show you something every single day that's gonna keep you on my team. It say nobody of the elect is gonna be plucked out of the Lord's hand. We believe that. So no matter what these people come with, we know that if we those men, we are not gonna fall. We're not gonna be plucked out the Lord's hand. We believe that. That's our faith. You see?
That's right.
Jesus ain't talking about nothing, man. Yahushua is the man. You know? Go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee.
That's what I'm saying. When the Lord said that, he wasn't lying. That actually never went away. But the ones that have faith in that phrase, in those verses, are the ones that's going to do what's necessary to earn it. You see? Mm-hmm. Everybody want to still do whatever they want to do and still get the blessing. Like, no. If you can't change your diet, the Lord ain't dealing with you. If you keep committing adultery, talking about Jesus love your heart, you're going to find out. You're going to find out. Does God really care if you take this chip or does it? Yes, he does. He does. He cares so much that if you take the shit, he's going to kill you.
Right.
So yeah. I'm gonna go with a yes for 1,000, Alex. Fuck you talking about? Do the Lord care? He said 613 laws and he don't care.
Right.
Do you care about the rules you set in your house?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You set rules in your house, let somebody break them. They got the fucking roll, don't they?
Right.
The defense rests, Your Honor. Like, goddamn.
Right. 613 commandments, but you got an opinion.
Yeah, 613 commandments, but he don't care what you do.
Like, come on, bro.
Nah, I put all these rules. That's just like them Christians that said, these Hebrew Israelites talk about you got to keep God's laws. What about Christ's laws? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious?
Right.
Really? Them ain't the same laws? You got it.
Those 613 laws are a complete necessity in order for us to rule in that land in righteousness. That's why we're not in that land right now. We can't keep it all the best way we can. We've been given a blueprint. You know, we've been given grace first and foremost. And even within that grace, we rehearsing the righteous acts, man. But that's why when the kingdom comes, when we get those new bodies, we're going to be programmed to follow the laws. So what these Christians are talking about, those are done away with. No, those laws are necessary in order to inhabit that land. Right. That's the diagram, the diagram to show you what to keep in order to dwell in this land. And the only ones that are going to be able to do that are going to be the Israelites.
Right.
With the law.
They'll be done away with before the laws are.
You said what?
I said these people that's talking about the laws, they gonna be gone. They gonna be done away with before the laws will. The laws ain't never going nowhere. You know.
Absolutely.
But disobeying those laws will get you killed. So you got to figure that out, man. You know what I'm saying? Through the spirit and power of Yahushua, we have, man. We understand that we ain't perfect, but that's what I'm saying. It's the difference between striving for perfection and just not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Right. Jesus loved my heart. You ain't striving for perfection. You just gonna do some wickedness and then say, Jesus know I love him. No. If Jesus said don't do it, then don't damn do it.
Right. Back in Hebrews 11 and 31, It says, by faith, the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not when she had received the spies with peace.
That's what I'm saying. She heard enough. She heard enough about Israel. She heard enough about Israel and the fame that was going through the land, and she even had faith that I need to get with these dudes. You know what I'm saying? To be able to save my house because they coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, bro? She hid the spies.
Mm-hmm.
She had enough. A heathen had enough faith in what she heard to where she hid the spies. It ended up being delivered.
Yep. And also, too, her name was also mentioned in the genealogy line with Yahushua, too.
Absolutely, Matthew 1:5.
Yep. She was part of the genealogy line with Yahushua, man.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. And moving forward, just like the scriptures say, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
Mm-hmm.
You see? So that she understood what Israel was about.
Right.
That's an example. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even though she was a heathen, she got delivered because she was in the right position.
Right.
You see, once Esau wiped out the way and all that, and all the other nations are giving back their lands and all these different things, they gonna be in the position that we in now. How we know the law, statutes, and commandments, and we try our best, knowing we can't keep them, and we need mercy. Right. That's how they gonna be in the kingdom, because we gonna be perfect. You see, because we still gonna have to judge, so they gonna be in the position that we in now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I got that quick.
You see, and that's and I love that whole story with Rahab. That's what I'm saying. When the righteous was in the majority, she rejoiced because she didn't get taken out with the rest of the heathen.
Right.
Yep.
Go ahead.
This is Matthew 1:5. And Salmon begat Boaz of Rahab. All right, and that was the point that I wanted to get, because again, it's going into that seed of faith. Rahab showed that seed of faith by housing those men. So like you had said, like y'all had said, she was saved after that. And what was the greatest prize that came out of that? That through that act she had done, our Lord Yahushua was born way down that line because he was in that lineage, man. Yep. Even though she's a heathen, but hey, was Salmon a heathen? No, that was an Israelite.
Bro, she was the only one. She was the only, her and her household was the only one that got delivered out of all of them we wiped out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then she ended up oh man, that's beautiful.
Yeah. And she ended up in the genealogy line, man.
Which is also proof that the man carries the seed.
Right. Exactly.
You know?
Right.
Exactly.
Through that act, there was a very holy communion made right there, man. Like a very holy line came out of that. The line of David came out of that act of faith. Right. The throne of David came out of that act of faith right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because through, beginning with like Pharez, you know what I'm saying? Continuing on, verse 32, it says, and what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon and of Barak and of Samson and of Jephthah, of David also, and Samuel, and of the prophets. Now, I'm gonna say this for Akim, for Akim that could be listening, and you Akwat that could be listening too. It says, and what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell you of Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, David, Samuel, and the prophets. Go back and read them accounts. Read about Gideon, read about Barak, read about Samson, Jephthah, David. Read those accounts and get the history, and you'll see the acts of faith that took place out of those different accounts. When you read the book of Judges, Samuel, Kings, you got like the scripture says, the things that are written aforetime are written for our learning today. A lot of this history that's written about in the scriptures, when you go through the book of Judges, like for me, I'll be honest, I got to go through the book of Judges more. I barely read the book of Judges, and I openly say.
But during when we first came in and the apostles had GMS homework, went through the book of Judges, chapter by chapter, had tests on it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's why we're able to go back to these things, man. Mm-hmm. You see? When they say study to show thyself approved, man, when you go back and you get into those books and you taking that time to study, man, that's time that you would normally probably be doing some bullshit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So you replacing the madness that you do with jumping into these scriptures, man. And it's more entertaining than anything that you're gonna do outside.
Right.
If you sincere, you got it.
God, it says, did you have a precept, Shor, or Salakia? Okay. Verse 33, it says, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness. So it says, through faith, these individuals subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire. And that made me think of Hananiah, Azariah, Mishael, right?
Yep, Antipas.
Antipas, right?
Yep.
Habakkuk. Who was it? Was it Habakkuk who fed Daniel?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Whenever who gave food?
Bro, all day you knew that he was in the lion's den and he was hungry. He had faith that the Lord was gonna do something. And an angel went and snatched Habakkuk up by the head. Habakkuk was cooking when the angel went to him. And he was like, yeah, we're gonna need you to take Daniel something to eat. He was like, Daniel, you talking about Daniel in Babylon?
He's like, way in Babylon.
I ain't never been to no Babylon. I don't even know how to get to Babylon. The angel picked him up by the crown of his head, took him to go take Daniel a plate, and dropped his ass right back off at the crib.
Mm-hmm.
You think Daniel knew any of that was working?
Right.
Bro, you gotta see that, man. Like, you guys gotta imagine, like, bro, that happened, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, the angel was like, I didn't ask you nothing about you ever. He said, I didn't ask you, have you ever been to Babylon? I told you going.
Right. Hey, that's beautiful. And just to add to those points y'all brothers are making, man, the Lord could have easily had food materialize where Daniel was. But what happened right there at that moment? Not only was it meant for Daniel's faith to be strengthened, but it was meant for Habakkuk's faith to be strengthened as well.
Mm-hmm.
That helped both of those men out. The Lord could have easily just had Daniel eat and Habakkuk do his thing, but he got Habakkuk involved, man, for that very reason.
Yep.
You know?
Woo.
Yep. It says, verse 34, it says, quench the violence of the fire, escape the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, wax valiant and fight. And read about some of the mighty men of David.
Yep, that's right.
Like Shamgar and Benaiah. And, go back and read about those mighty men, and you'll see with Samson. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, guys, which one was the one in 2 Samuel 23 who was killing everybody so much? He was going so hard.
His hand got stuck to a sword.
Molded into the sword.
I think it was I want to say it was Shamgar? It might have been Shamgar. What chapter was that in again?
It was in 2 Samuel 23. He was mowing through them. He was mowing through those Philistines so tough that his hand cramped. Literally, he could not let go of his sword. The Lord literally had it where his sword was glued to his hand, man.
Hey, you know where? That's where they stole that Christopher Columbus thing. You remember where they talked about Christopher Columbus? He never could put his sword down.
Oh, really?
That's where they took that reference from.
Oh, wow,
man.
That's where they took that reference from.
Man, it was actually I'll read it real quick. I'll just pull it out. 2 Samuel 23:8. These be the names of the mighty men whom David had. It says, the Tachmonite that sat in the seat, chief among the captains. So he was the head. Like, this man was the one who, like, that word. His name literally means one who sits on the seat, right? He lifted up the spear against 800, whom he slew at one time. So just imagine one man with a spear killing 800 men by himself in one time, one sitting, right? It says, and after him was Eleazar, the son of Dodo, the Ahohite, one of the three mighty men with David when they defied the Philistines that were gathered together to battle, and the men of Israel were gone away. He arose and smote the Philistines until his hand was weary, and his hand clave unto his sword.
So when his hand got tired, the Lord said, you ain't finna drop that sword, player. And his hand squeezed it. You know what I'm saying? He could not let it go.
Man,
his sword became part of his hand.
Bro, makes you think of how the Lord, how the Lord pretty much closed up the door of the ark, and the Lord closed up his hand on that sword to get the job done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It says, and Yahweh wrought a great victory that day, and the people returned after him only on the spoil. So, you can read 2 Samuel 23, starting at verse 8 on your own time. Read about some of those mighty men that David, that was with David, man. So it says back in Hebrews 11, it says, wax valiant and fight, right? Turn to flight the armies of the aliens, coming into the land of Canaan. It says women receive their dead raised to life again. All this is happening with faith. And others were tortured, not accepting deliverance. And we already know that our first thing that came to my mind is probably what came to both of y'all's mind, brothers and Maccabees, being tortured, not accepting deliverance.
Right. Go ahead. I'm sorry, bro.
No, you got to go ahead.
Because it says not accepting deliverance, meaning that they was willing to die versus live, do an unrighteous act and live and receive the benefits of that waning kingdom. At that moment, you could look at it like, okay, I'm delivered. But then it went into the resurrection afterward, because ultimately the true deliverance is going to be when we get those new bodies. The example, really quick. Elliot Nazak, I think you're going to remember, we did a lesson on this a few years back with Benji from Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
An example of Eleazar from Maccabees.
I remember
You know
that.
what I'm saying? And how they was forcing everybody to eat that pork. You know what I'm saying? And then when it came to him, he had high influence. You know what I'm saying? He had high notoriety among the Israelites. So they were trying to force him to eat pork. And even those that were close to him came to him and said, look, man, we're going to give you lawful food. Just act like it's pork. You know what I'm saying? But he chose death rather than life. He could have been delivered, quote unquote. If he would have did that, he would have been delivered from death. But he chose life rather than death because he understood the bigger picture. So that's what it means when it says that right there. When it says that not accepting deliverance. They weren't looking at the finite. They weren't looking at the carnal world at that moment. They were looking at the spiritual. That's why it went to the resurrection right afterward. It says that they might obtain a better resurrection.
Yep. I got a precept just based upon what you just said. Hebrews 12:2. Looking unto Yahweh Shai, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, which is torture.
It said the joy that was set before him, he took the cross. Read that again, Baba Kasha.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 2. And this is the next chapter that we're going to go into. Looking unto Yahweh Shai, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of the Most High.
That's what I'm saying. That's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take. Knowing what the Lord promised us is going to trump anything that can happen to us in this flesh.
Right.
And if you don't have the faith and the fear to accomplish that, you will not get it. Period.
And on the comment board, it said alien talking about a foreigner. All right. On the comment board, I don't know if you on here playing games or not, but just listen. Ain't nobody talking about no damn lizards, man. All right.
Yeah, it seems like a scoffer.
I just kept going.
Con.
Let's go.
Hebrews chapter 11, verse 35. Women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You got to counsel the Lord raising people from the dead. The little damsel that they thought was kicked everybody out the room. You know what I'm saying? It was a whole lot of different things. Everything that we've gone through in this chapter happened. You see? All right.
It says that they might obtain a better resurrection. And that's when you read 2 Maccabees, the 7th chapter, that's what one of the brothers said. He said, look, I understand that you can kill my flesh, you can kill me, but I trust and believe I'm going to come back and your resurrection is going to, matter of fact, I got to get it. I'm sorry.
We ain't playing no games. You know how we roll.
Yeah, man, I'm just grabbing real quick. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 7. I'll start at verse 36. It says, for our brethren who now have suffered a short pain are dead under the Most High's covenant of everlasting life. But thou, through the judgment of the Most High, shall receive just punishment for thy pride. Talking about the Greeks, which are Edomites at this time. Not at this time, but period, they're Edomites. But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers, beseeching the Most High that he would speedily be merciful unto our nation, and that thou by torments and plagues mayest confess that he alone is the Most High.
That's what I'm saying. By torments, and that's what I'm saying. We still confess. Read that last line again, Baba Kasha.
Khan, it says, I'll read verse 37. It says, "But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers, beseeching the Most High that he would speedily be merciful unto our nation, and that thou, by torments and plagues, mayest confess that he alone is the Most High." So he was talking to the Greek, like, man, look, you gonna confess that he the Most High by how he torture you. You gonna confess and know that there's that he is the Most High. You know, makes me think of Revelation 1 when he said, "Look, when the Lord come back, all nations shall mourn and shall be in mourning and woe." You know, they gonna know. Like you always say, Elder Yatazai, like you always say, "Then shall they know that I am Yahweh." It's the same thing, you know.
I was like, bro, that's just like when when a fighter or athlete be confident in their skills or whatever, and when they win, they be like, I told you I had this. You know what I'm saying? You remember what Muhammad Ali? He said, I told you I was the greatest. I shook up the world. How much more Yahweh? He can literally shake up the world. Literally. Like literally, like shake this thing, man. How about the world reeling to and fro like a drunkard? That's the strength and the power of the Lord, man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So the Lord had the Lord is the only one who can boast.
Yep. Straight up.
So we say Yahweh Shai is the only ones that can boast. That's it. That's what everything the Lord said was gonna happen. Undefeated. Just like the brother Mike Allah out in Cali say, infinity and O. Win it. You know?
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. Faith in a power that has never lost versus faith in complete losers. Here it is, the Lord ain't never lost, but you're gonna listen to a complete loser.
Right.
Fine by me, man. Fine by me. I'm still fighting for my seat on the chariot. You know?
A nigga subjected to a damn wheelchair that speaks for him. You gonna have faith in him.
Oh man.
You know.
You got faith in a shop that's literally been killing thousands of people.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Faith in everything but who you can actually be delivered by, and that's Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right. In anything, man. You know?
Yep.
Like look at all these religions they got, man. You can literally make up your own religion today, and people will have to respect you for it. Just
the religion of the spaghetti bowl on top of your head.
Bro, the Pastafarians.
Yeah, Pastafarian. Yeah.
They call them Pastafarians.
I remember
niggas walking around with colanders on their head.
Man. Continuing on, verse 36. You know, we almost finished here. It says, and others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover of bonds and imprisonment.
That's what I'm saying, man. Look at from Yahweh Shai on down to the disciples, and include Paul and Barnabas and all them. Read that line again.
Verse 36, and others had trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover of bonds and imprisonment.
You know what I'm saying? They was getting locked up. They was getting beat. Stephen got stoned. Paul got stoned. Bro, Paul got stoned and woke back up. Got stoned, woke back up, and went right back to the work.
Right.
Yep.
Like, come on, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. If that don't do nothing to you, you might as well close the book.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Go do whatever you wanted to do. That's what I said. Go do whatever you want to do before you force yourself to sit down and try to read.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 37. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. And the world ain't worthy of us, man. You think the world worthy of us, you know, who the Lord has given unto us as wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, man? It says, of whom the world was not worthy, man. Just like the world wasn't worthy during the time of the flood. And that's why the Most High killed everybody else and saved Noah and his household, man.
That's right, brother. That's right. Beautiful point. That's the spirit. I was actually going to bring that up. Because when you read into that example, even it says it in Sirach, it says how Noah was an exchange for the world. Woo. It shows how much unworthy that they are, that he's going to choose his righteous elect out of the rest of the world. Like if we're of the elect, Lord's willing, we're of that number. we are literally going to be in exchange for the world, man. You know, he don't give a dang about these people that are out here, man. You read it in Isaiah 40, it talks about the nations being like a vessel, like a drop of a bucket. And even 2/3 of our people can fall into that category right now. Hey, the scriptures say in 2nd Ezra, all right, I'm loosely paraphrasing, it said, let the multitude perish that was created in vain. You know what I'm saying? So that multitude that was created in vain is going to perish, man. But the elect are going to be in exchange of those that perish.
Brute beast, you take it and destroy it, man.
That's right.
Yep.
I want to say the 2/3 is pretty much going to be the 2/3 is pretty much going to be a shield for the elect.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I want to say the Lord got 2/3 of the nation of Israel set up to die,
Right,
and 1/3 to be delivered, man. You know what I'm saying? So all these tough guy, AK shooting, all black wearing, you know what I'm saying, purple people eating niggas, you know, they gonna be the ones that's gonna catch all them L's, man. Everybody that think they gonna shoot their way out of this thing, we gonna see, because you're gonna get your opportunity. You're gonna get your opportunity to try to shoot your way onto a chariot, and we gonna see how that work for you.
That's right.
It ain't no prophecy to say we gonna shoot our way up out of this captivity, man. It said we gonna have to be delivered, man. You know? You got something?
I appreciate it. What'd you say?
Oh no, go ahead.
This is Isaiah chapter 42, verse 15. I will make waste mountains and hills, and dry up all their herbs, and I will make the rivers islands, and I will dry up the pools. And that's just going into the day of the Lord. Now, all the comfortabilities aren't going to be there. All those dainties aren't going to be there. Okay. This is verse 16. And I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. And that's talking about us. All right. It's not talking about literally like you're blind, but we don't know exactly how these things are going to play out. Just like we're going into the example of all our fathers that they didn't know exactly what was going to happen, but having that faith. All right. Faith, you quoted it earlier, Tazaba. You know what I'm saying? Walk by faith and not by sight. When you read this, it says, I will lead the blind by way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. Everybody knows the way of the gun. Everybody knows the way of the sword, knows the way of your own will. This is something that the whole world is familiar with. So he's saying that he's going to lead the righteous in paths that they ain't even known. You know? Yep. It says, I will make darkness light before them and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them that have not, he says, and not forsake them. So we got to really have this mindset of our fathers as we're reading in Hebrews 11 chapter. How we're going into all the examples of those seeds of faith that was thrown. And you've seen the mass crops that was grown after that, just by that seed of faith. Just by being blind to that moment, but you seeing it, you're seeing the long haul through the spirit. You know, this is what this whole chapter is going into. That was it.
At the end of the day, man, genuine faith is going to preserve to the end, and emotional decisions are not going to preserve to the end, man. There's plenty of examples where our forefathers could have just been emotional. Abraham could have got emotional what the Lord told him, and look what would have happened if that was the case. You know what I'm saying? Joseph could have got emotional. You know what I'm saying? Y'all sold me into slavery, man. Fuck y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't finna come up in here and get no food. Y'all gonna die. And then, you know what I'm saying? No, but that wasn't the will of the Lord, you know?
Bro, can you imagine if Yahweh Shai was like, hell no, that nigga spit on me, cuz?
Right.
We'll be done.
Out of there.
We'll be done, man. But that's what I'm saying. When you go through that chapter, that we just went through, it talks about how the Lord was able to see the bigger picture. Moses was able to turn down being the Pharaoh's grandson. Abraham was able to understand that, hey, if I do got to kill Isaac right now, the Lord gonna raise him from the dead. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, Gideon, Barak, and Jephthah, all those were men of war that were outnumbered, and the Lord worked a miracle. You see? But now you gotta say, but fast forward up today, everybody want to talk about what the fuck they gonna do.
Yep.
That's why they hate us, man, because we always tell you what the Lord gonna do. We'll tell you straight up, we ain't gonna do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Unless the Lord gives us you know what I'm saying? The Lord is going to do this. The Lord is going to do that. The Lord is going to do this. The Lord is going to do that. But according to Ezekiel 25, Ezekiel 25, it said that he's going to use his people Israel to put hell on these nations. So that's why we can say what we going to do and all that. But that's what I'm saying. It's what the Heavenly Father is going to do. And how is he going to do it? With his men. That's how it's supposed to be described. So before we get to telling you how much ass we going to kick and what we going to do and all that, no. We just going to read Ezekiel 25 and 12 through 14 and 15 as loud as we can until you get your ugly ass up the block. That's how we do it. The Lord is going to fight our battles. We've been commanded to cast our burdens on the Heavenly Father. It says strive for the truth, and the Lord is going to fight for you. How is the Lord going to fight for you? By giving you the power to conquer any weapon they form.
Yep.
We believe that.
That's right.
Y'all got anything else? Was that the end of the chapter?
No, I got 2 more verses real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
It says, verse 38, it says, of whom the world was not worthy. It says they wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and caves of the earth. And these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise. It says the Most High, having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. You see? So they didn't receive the promise, but they're going to receive the promise because what? Through reincarnation and back today, and we're in the last days now. Like Yahweh Shah said, blessed are your eyes for they see. You know that the prophets and the men of old had desired to see the things that you see today. Right. See, so now the promises are getting ready to be fulfilled. You know, which is going to us dwelling in the land of Canaan in righteousness. You know.
Yeah, and you find it interesting. It says that they without us should not be made perfect. Meaning, we need these examples right here. As Paul said, all things are written aforetime, written for our learning.
That's right.
We need examples like this to be perfected and made perfect. And it's also showing you that faith makes you perfect too. Because it's going into all the moves that they made with faith being on their mind to do it. So really to be perfected, which through Yahweh Shai, the elect are going to be perfected, but there's a certain way that they're going to have to carry themselves. There's a certain level of trust that these individuals that are going to have. And with that trust in the Lord, not only are they going to know that they're going to be made perfect, but the world around them and see the power of the Lord through these men are going to see that they were those ones. But we got our fathers that went through those trials and tribulations and those different things. So we today could be made perfect. Mm-hmm. And all this was done through faith, man. That's why faith is the key. You need, that's why the only way to please the Lord is through faith. Mm-hmm. You know, and he's going to reward you for that.
That's right.
Okay. And that was the end of chapter 11.
All right. Y'all got any more precepts?
Nope.
Hey, Con. Hey, the water to the occupant, Aquath on the comment board. Y'all lit that thing up. So lucky we didn't get to as many precepts as we normally do. But man, y'all lit that thing up, man. The water. Yeah, man. Yeah, I will say, Lord willing, we'll be able to continue the series and continue to be boosted, man. Continue to be boosted, man. Now is not the time to not have faith.
Exactly.
It's just not, man. It's just not, you know what I'm saying? And the men that do have faith, Lord willing, we able to endure to the end, man, because we get shown something every day that continues, along with jumping into the scriptures and reading and going into the history and going to all these accounts. So, but between our studies and real-time news, hey, man, we going to continue to hasten the coming of our Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, man. So with that, we want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kaha Padasha. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Akim teaching about the mind wa Mat. Blessing, sincerity, and truth. Shalom.
Shalom.